Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Akin Show. I wanted to start things off by helping those of you out there who were having thoughts of selling your home. And so what I want to do is devote the first few episodes of the show to helping you start the process right, look at some important issues, and today what I wanted to do is answer what I think are three important questions or three important issues that need to be addressed before you would look at selling your home. So the first thing that I think you need to do, the very most important thing, is figure out what your motivation is. You need to answer the question, why am I thinking of selling my house? Some of you might need to sell your house. Big life change type events, jobs moving, people passing, people being born, whatever the case might be. These are the kinds of things that necessitate a move, that necessitate a sale. And in that case, yeah, by all means, stop watching this and go start the process. Go find an agent that you trust. But a lot of people, you're simply looking at perhaps upgrading. Your family's grown, you've made some more money, whatever the case might be. Some of you might be downsizing. You're empty nesters, or you realize you don't need as much as you used to. And some of you might just have heard that the market's really hot and you're looking to make a buck on the sale of your home. But whatever your motivation is, you have to know what it is. If you don't know what your motivation is, it's going to be really hard for you to make it through the transaction. Because your motivation is going to need to inform the decisions that you make at different steps along the way. All right? If you don't know what your motivation is, when somebody counters or when they ask for certain things, your answers are going to need to be informed by something. And so you need to know what this motivation is. All right? I'm saying this is the most important thing. The next big thing that you have to consider, I would say the next big question you have to answer is, am I financially prepared to sell my home? All right, this starts by knowing what the value of your home is. If you don't have a good idea of where the market's at, it's going to make it hard. So you should probably talk with an agent or consult an online tool to get an idea of what your home might be worth. What's nice is that many of the costs associated with selling a home come out of the price at closing of the sale, and you don't necessarily have to have all that cash on hand, but you may need to have some cash on hand to cover things like staging, getting the home ready to show, moving, repairs that the buyers might ask of you during the transaction. Now, I'm not saying you have to have $1 million in the bank to be able to do all these things, but you should check your bank account and make sure, okay, I do have some cash on hand so that as things come up or if I want to make certain decisions, I can. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you start the process, but you don't have enough gas to get all the way through it. So make sure you really count the costs when it comes to, am I financially prepared to sell my house? All right, and before we get into the final thing I think you need to address before deciding to sell your home, I want to invite you guys to like this video. I want you to share it. I would love it if you subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned to any future updates that are coming. Other than that, you can find me online at akinhomes.com. But without further ado, what I want to do is look at this last thing I think you need to address, and that is, am I emotionally prepared to sell my home? And this one's kind of tricky because I think it sometimes flies under the radar. And what you need to understand is that this is going to boil down to a financial transaction at the end of the day. When your buyer buys your home, they're not going to be buying all of your memories. They don't care how long you've lived there. They don't care how many kids you've raised there. And that sounds harsh, but if you can't maintain a certain level of objectivity when it comes to selling your home, you're not setting yourself up for success. So when it comes to being emotionally prepared to sell your home, you need to maintain a certain level of objectivity. All right? On top of that, you're potentially going to be inviting people into your home. They're going to be critiquing and judging decisions that you've made. You need to be able to deal with that. If you are comfortable with in-home showings, there's going to be times when your family is inconvenienced. As showings get set up, what agents typically recommend is that you not be there. And so if you have a lot of showings, you're going to be displaced for a little while your agent is trying to get the home sold. And so you need to really make sure that you count the emotional cost as well. Are you going to be able to get you and yours out of the home on a consistent basis so that you can hopefully find a buyer that will make a life-changing offer on your home? And if you can't, then maybe it's not the right time to sell yet. So to recap, you need to make sure that you first off understand your why. What is your motivation? Because this is what's going to need to inform your decisions and help sustain you along the way. Second off, you need to make sure that you are financially prepared. you've got the equity built into the home, you've got the cash on hand to make any repairs or touch-ups that you need to. And lastly, you need to make sure that you are emotionally prepared and remain objective through the sale of your home, because otherwise, if these three things aren't done, it's going to make for a rough time for you. However, if you feel like you meet all three of those criteria, now you're at the point where you need to figure out how you're going to sell your home. Are you going to do it for sale by owner? Are you going to sell to an iBuyer? Are you going to list with a traditional agent? And these are questions that we're going to look at in our next episode. But if you are wondering about the value of your home, I would love to help you with that. You can reach out to me at all the different channels and stations that we've talked about. But other than that, I love you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, and we'll see you then.